Hi dear students, today in this session you are going to learn the second lesson, Elixir of Life. In the last two classes you have learned the first lesson, A Wrong Man Invokes Paradise, and the first poem, To a Pedrosaurus Grains. Hope you have learned everything and completed your notes. And today we have the second lesson, The Elixir of Life, written by C.V. Raman. C.V. Raman is a famous scientist who had a keen interest in science from his boyhood days. For his famous discovery, Raman effect, he was awarded Nobel Prize for Physics in 1930. The government of India awarded him Bharat Ratna and the Soviet Union honored him the International Lenin Prize in 1957 for his contributions. And today we have a beautiful essay written by C.V. Raman. The title is The Elixir of Life. Before going to the lesson, you have to know what is elixir. The word elixir means a liquid substance which has magical power to prolong life indefinitely. Have you heard about divine Amrita? In Puranas you have heard. What is divine Amrita? The people who are having this divine Amrita, they will get immortality in their life. They won't have death. Through many ages, men were seeking the imaginary elixir of life which gives immortality to the life. But according to C.V. Raman, the real elixir of life is very close to our hands. It is nothing but the plain water. Water is the real elixir of life. Elixir means which has magical power. Here water also has magical power. So in this lesson we can see the importance of water. According to C.V. Raman, it is the most potent, most wonderful thing in the world. The water has played a significant role to make the earth's history. To prove the water is the most wonderful thing in the world, C.V. Raman brought one beautiful example. One day he was standing on the line which separates Libyan desert and Nile Valley in Egypt. On one side we can see the sea of billowing sand without a mark of greenery and a single living thing. But on the other side we can see full of greenery and the most fertile and the most populated areas, that is the Nile Valley. What made this wonderful difference? It is nothing but the Nile River brought this difference. Geologists tell that the entire soil of the Egypt or the Nile Valley brought by this river Nile. The ancient civilization of Egypt also made by this river. Now let's go to the reading section. I will read the first to fourth paragraphs. You have to listen well. Man has through the ages sought in vain for an imaginary elixir of life, the divine Amrita, to confer immortality. But the true elixir of life lies near to our hands, for it is the commonest of all liquids, plain water. I remember one day standing on the line which separates the Libyan desert from the Nile Valley of the Nile in Egypt. On one side was visible a sea of billowing sand without a speck of green or a single living thing anywhere visible on it, while on the other side lay one of the greenest, most fertile and densely populated areas to be found anywhere on the earth, teeming with life and vegetation. What made this wonderful difference? Why? It is the water of the river Nile flowing down to the Mediterranean from its sources a couple of thousands of miles away. Geologists tell us that the The entire soil of the Nile Valley is the creation of the river itself. It was brought down as the finest silt in its floodwaters from the highlands of Abyssinia and from remote Central Africa and laid down through the ages in the trough through which the Nile flows into the sea. Egypt, in fact, was made by its river. Its ancient civilization was created and is sustained by the life-giving waters which come down year after year with unfailing regularity. I give this example and could give many others to emphasize that this common substance which we take for granted in our everyday life is the most potent and the most wonderful thing on the face of our earth. It has played a role of most significant in shaping the course of Earth's history and continues. Okay students, now you listened this lesson 1 to 4th paragraphs. Pause this video and take your textbook, read once again. Okay. In the first paragraph, the writer tells about imaginary elixir and real elixir of life. What is imaginary elixir? The imaginary elixir is divine Amrita and the real elixir is water. These 2 points are very important. And some new words we can see. Sought, S-O-U-G-H-T, sought. Which words past form is sought? Can you say? Yes. Sought, seek, seek, sought, sought. This is the past and past participle form of seek. Billowing, billowing sand. That means a large area, okay? Sand of a large area. Speck. Speck means a small mark. Silt. The river Nile is carrying the finest silt. Because of that silt, many years, many ages, they made that civilization of Egypt. Okay, that means silt means the fine particle of soil. Fine particle of soil. Fine particle of soil. Mortal. So here we have seen mortal. Divine Amrita brought immortality. So mortal, what is the opposite of mortal? Immortal. Immortal. In exam question may come, the prefix which make the opposite of mortal. Which prefix? Yes, we can add im. I-M-im. Mortal, immortal. And what is the meaning of potent? Potent means powerful. The water is the most potent thing. Potent means powerful. And opposite of potent, impotent. Okay, so question may come. The prefix which you make the opposite of potent, that is im. Like that here also mortal, immortal, potent and impotent. Potent meaning is powerful. Okay, powerful. So these are the new words in 1 to 4 paragraphs. Now let's go to the 5th paragraph. The same water will give beauty to the countryside for any places. For example, if there is a little stream trickling over the rocks, or if there is a little pond where the cattle came and quenched their thirst, it will be a beautiful scene. The same way, the rain-fed tanks which are common in South India, also the cheering sight of a countryside. What are the features of this rain-fed tanks? These rain-fed tanks are some places shallow. Shallow means shallow. Shallow means not deep. This is very common in South India and it plays a vital role in South Indian agriculture. So what is the opposite of shallow? Shallow opposite is deep. Shallow opposite deep. So these rain-fed tanks are some places they are shallow and they are playing a very important role in South Indian agriculture. Some rain-fed tanks are very large and it is very beautiful to see or very beautiful to watch sunset and sunrise in these rain-fed tanks. And water in a landscape compares to the human eyes. Why? Because human eyes will reflect the mood of the person. If we are happy, our eyes will be very bright. If we are sad, our eyes will be very gloomy. The same way, the water in a landscape is reflecting its mood. When the sun shines, when the sun is very bright, the water in a landscape also will be very bright. Okay. And if the sun is gloomy or the sky is overcast, what will happen? The water also will be turned to dark or it will be not a bright one. And in this next paragraph, the writer tells the remarkable fact of this water. The remarkable fact of this water is it has the power to carry silt. Power to carry silt. Silt. Silt already I have explained to you. What is silt? Silt is the fine particles of the soil. Okay, we can't see, okay, we cannot separate how we are separating that big particles. Okay, so here water can carry a silt. This silt will give color to the rain-fed tanks. Okay, if it is a swiftly flowing water is there, it can carry large particles, but that we can see. But this silt, it is not visible and it will be filled in the water. That silt will give color to the rain-fed tanks. Okay. The flow of the water plays a great role in the geological process. That already we have seen in the case of ancient civilization of Egypt. And here again the writer tells this flow of the water has a great role in the geological process. This same agency. Same agency means what? This flow of water, it has a destructive part. That is explanation of in the 7th paragraph. See, actually this water has a useful part, at the same time it has a destructive part. Can you say what is the problem with this water? Yes, if this water is flowing very forcefully, what will happen? It will make the soil erosion. That is the destructive part of this flow of the water. Clear, students? So now we are going to the 5th, 6th, 7th paragraphs, reading and listen carefully. There is nothing which adds so much to the beauty of the countryside as water, be it just a little stream trickling over the rocks or a little pond by the wayside where the cattle quench their thirst of an evening. The rain-fed tanks that are so common in South India, alas, often so sadly neglected in their maintenance, are a cheering sight when they are full. They are of course shallow, but this is less evident since the water is silt-laden and throws the light back and the bottom does not therefore show up. These tanks play a vital role in South Indian agriculture. Some of these tanks are surprisingly large and it is a beautiful sight to see the sunrise or set over one of them. Water in a landscape may be compared to the eyes in a human face. It reflects the mood of the hour, being bright and gay when the sun shines, turning to dark and gloomy when the sky is overcast. One of the most remarkable facts about water is its power to carry silt or finely divided soil in suspension. This is origin of the characteristic color of the water in rain-fed tanks. This color varies with the nature of the earth in the catchment area and is most vivid immediately after a fresh inflow following rain. Swiftly flowing water can carry fairly large and heavy particles. The finest particles, however, remain floating within the liquid in spite of their greater density and are of course extremely small, but their number is also great. The flow of water has undoubtedly played a great part and a beneficent one in the geological process by which the soil on the Earth's surface has been formed from the rocks of its crust. The same agency, however, under appropriate conditions, can also play a destructive part and wash away the soil, which is the foundation of all agriculture, and if allowed to proceed unchecked can have the most disastrous effect on the life of the country. The problem of soil erosion is one of the serious import in various countries and especially in many parts of India. The conditions under which it occurs and the measures by which it can be checked deserve the closest study. Okay dear students, you have to pause this video and take your textbook. Read from 5th to 7th paragraphs well. Okay students, hope you have already read this 5th, 6th, 7th paragraphs. 3 questions I have written here. Try to say the answers. What is the cheering site mentioned in this 5th paragraph? What is the cheering site? Yes, the rain-fed tanks are the cheering site. Second question, what does give color to the rain-fed tanks? Can you say? The silt, finely divided soil particles. Okay. What does give color to the rain-fed tanks? Silt. And third question, what does the writer compare the water in a landscape to? The writer compares the water in a landscape to the human eye. Okay, so these questions are very important. You have to read once again that paragraphs. In the 7th paragraph, we have seen the useful part and the destructive part of this water. So in the 8th and the 9th paragraph, we are going to see the soil erosion. What are the causes of soil erosion? How we can prevent the soil erosion. Already you have learned in lower classes what are the causes for soil erosion. Can you say? Yes, the slope of the land, the removal of the cut of the vegetation, existence of ruts. Moreover than the sudden burst of excessively heavy rain, that is the major part of this soil erosion. Okay, it has a major role in soil erosion. So how we can prevent it? We can construct bunds to check the flow of the water. We can terrace the land and do the agriculture. We can do the contour cultivation, etc. Okay, so these are the steps how we can prevent this water soil erosion. Now let's read the 8th and 9th paragraph. Students, listen carefully. Soil erosion occurs in successive steps, the earliest of which may easily pass unnoticed. In the later stages, the cutting up and washing away of the earth is only too painfully apparent in the formation of deep gullies and ravines which make all agriculture impossible. Sudden bursts of excessively heavy rain resulting in a large run of surplus water are the principal factors in causing soil erosion. Contributing causes are slope of the land, removal of the natural protective coat of vegetation, the existence of ruts along with the water can flow with rapidly gathering momentum, and the absence of any checks to such flow. Incredibly large quantities of precious soil can be washed away if such conditions exist, as is unhappily too often the case. The menace which soil erosion presents to the continuance of successful agriculture is an alarming one in many parts of India, calling urgently for attention and prevention action. The terracing of the land, the construction of bunds to check the flow of water, the practice of condor cultivation and the planting of appropriate types of vegetation are amongst the measures that have been suggested. It is obvious that the aim should be to check the flow of water at the earliest possible stage before it has acquired any appreciable momentum and correspondingly large destructive power. Students, you have to read this 8th and 9th paragraph. Pause this video, take your textbook and read it. Okay. Now I am going to conclude this class. In this class, we have learned the role of water, about rain-fed tanks, its major facts and its useful fact part and the destructive part, and how it will make soil erosion, what are the causes of soil erosion, how we can prevent soil erosion. So this lesson will be continued in the next class. By that time you have to read this lesson well, learn it, complete your notes. See you in the next class.